Alright, good morning everybody. So, I want to do a trade recap of my live stream yesterday. Um, had, in my opinion, was a really good trade. Just wasn't able to be on the right side of the market. I got out break even, following my rules and whatnot. Um, can't be mad at it. I think it was a pretty good setup, a solid setup. Sometimes it happens like that. This is probably one of two or three valid trade losses that I've had. Sorry, trade break evens that I've had where I followed my rules to a T. This is a decent setup, and it just didn't work out. All right, I'd probably say this is an A setup. Um, so I'm gonna go through that trade recap first, and then I'm gonna go through a trade that I missed um, earlier on in the session. So let's kind of start on the weekly and kind of bring y'all into why I thought we were doing what we were doing. So just looking at how we closed Friday, right? The weekly, we were extremely bullish. So I was expecting us to come down, to put in this bottom wick, and then ultimately to go higher again. Still looking at targets being this first wick, but ultimately this second wick is where I would prefer price to go. It doesn't have to get there this week or next week, but I think this is going to be the first area we go before we decide if it is we want to roll over and go lower again. So back onto the daily, you can see that this is the target. This is the first weekly target that I'm looking at, and we'll see how price develops and whatnot. We also do have this daily gap down here that price may want to come into, so we'll see. So now let's break it down. And this is where majority of the analysis came in, was on the 1 hour. So what happened at 9:30 is we had the weekly high of last week, Friday, that got swept. So from there, I'm thinking, okay, cool, it's swept. Now we can possibly look to go short. And the reason I'm looking to go short is because I use something called the midnight opening gap. Midnight open. Now, midnight open is obviously at midnight Eastern Standard Time, and that is almost a magnet for price. If price doesn't take that out, then more than likely price during London, price will more than likely get there during New York, and that's exactly what happened here. So if we look at midnight open, I think I do have that marked. Oh, I lied. I do not have that marked. I had it marked. So midnight open is here. Alright, midnight open. So as you can see, midnight open never got swept. This wasn't a sweep. This is equals. And price just continued, and then we swept previous weekly high. So from that moment, I'm now thinking, all right, cool, we're short to at least this level. That's how I was thinking. So let's actually go through the trade itself. So we can see, come higher, we sweep liquidity, we push lower, we get a little bit of a pullback, which is what I like to see. Now, as you all know, I don't trade unless there's liquidity. I'm really trying to work on that, but that is one of my rules, and I'm really going to be following that rule now, to be quite honest with you. So, let me just remove this for a second so it's a little bit easier to see. So, understanding what it is that we're looking for, which is this midnight open, I saw that we started accumulating, which means we're building liquidity. So we started building liquidity on the sell side, started building liquidity on the buy side. Price comes down, sweeps the low. Sweeps the low. Then immediately pushes up in one candle, sweeps the highs. So from there, I'm now thinking, all right, cool. We swept the lows, we swept the highs. What does that mean? It means we should be going short. We produce an inverse FEG, which is here, inverse FEG, boom, and I hop in. I get actually a pretty decent entry on it. Pretty much at the exact open of the candle. So I get an entry like this. My stop is above the candle, like so. This is the inverse. Let me just mark that out, like so. So that's essentially how I'm trading it. My break-even point is this low. Once this low gets closed below, I'm gonna break even, which is exactly what happened. And yeah, my first target was these lows. I was gonna take 50% off of these lows. Ultimately, my real target, since this is a manipulation range, is from this high to the manipulation range low, target the 2 standard deviations. That is how I like to trade. That's what I do. So price was moving quite well, but unfortunately we never were able to make it to the low. And yeah, we came back up and took me out break even. Alright, you can see the point there. You can see the point of the entry there. So no money made, no money lost, blah blah blah. And as you can clearly see, I mean, this definitely the correct bias, without a doubt. Just price didn't kind of move how we normally see price move, and that's okay. That's just how it goes, right? Was there another re-entry? In my opinion, no. I would not take anything else from in here based off of my model. But yeah, it is what it is, right? That's pretty much the first trade. Well, no, that's the trade that I took yesterday, and that's a trade recap for it. So now let's get into something else. So this one, which is a little bit more apparent. On the 1 minute, we sweep liquidity pretty violently. We come back down, and we close below this first inverse here. This is not typically a trade I would take. I really do need to kind of look at the numbers of how this type of trade works. When we have a massive expansion up, first FEG gets taken or gets inversed. This would be how I would have to take it. In terms of targets, there aren't many. Target is definitely this the midnight opening gap would be, sorry, midnight open, it would be the target for this one. There isn't too much more you can target. Just find out real quick again. Somewhere here. Midnight. Oh shoot. Let's find that again. Midnight. There we go. So midnight. So yeah, that's where we would target. And yeah, that would have been a pretty decent trade as well, right? But unfortunately, didn't get in it. Just didn't. We wasn't confident enough to get in it, to be honest. There was also a second. I think it's on the 2 minute. No, it's 3. Yeah, on the 3 minute, there's a second entry, which I could have taken. However, I wasn't very confident in it that this would run. So you would have gone in here, short here, stop above, we just closed low, say we target this again, cut low, come back up, and we immediately tapped out. Probably could have taken some of the partials at these lows, but yeah. So those are the 2 trades from yesterday. The first one, I'm not. This one here, sorry, I'm not as I wouldn't say upset. That's not right, but I'm okay with not taking that one because of the lack of data to take it. Second one, I'm pretty glad I took it. Unfortunately, it just didn't play out how it normally would play out. And yeah, so that's my trade recap from yesterday, the 28th of April.